if you've seen From Dusk Till Dawn, you
You
actually
fucking beat me to it. You
have
fucking beat me to it. Hold on, we'll get that. All right.
This is
All
significantly
right.
better, but yes, you can
I,
Five.
I,
follow
I, w-
along.
I will be jumping off.
Here's our double header of movie reviews. We're doing Sinners first. Maybe Thunderbolts first. We'll see how we want to release it. Um, with me today is the Jack of all nerds, Mike Maxwell, the classic, and movie review extraordinaire, Derrick Murray. And we're going to talk about Sinners. And before we start, before I let Derrick uh, come all over our webcams, I want to preface my experience with Sinners. So I knew fucking nothing about this movie. We alluded to it when we talked about the Thunderbolts, whether or not that review comes first, whatever. I knew nothing about this movie. I saw the movie poster, and I saw Derrick ranting and raving on Facebook about how good it was. So on my birthday, my wife's like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Let's go see a movie." And she's like, "All right." And she's like, "What do you want to see?" We're looking through it, and I was like, let's see Sinners, because even though Derrick and I have never agreed on everything when it comes to movies, he's very passionate about this one, and I don't know any of these other fucking movies. So let's see Sinners. So all I knew was the poster and what Derrick was saying it was good. And I gotta say, going into this movie knowing fucking nothing was awesome, and every aspect of it was, again, I think you even said it, Derrick, online. It's not a flawless movie, but every aspect of it, I don't know how to say, like it worked so well.
Mhm.
And I think in our we briefly DM'd each other. I said like I'm a big fan of blues music. I could if you told me who's your favorite blues singer, I'm not that kind of fan, but I just love the music, the
Mhm.
genre. And so as soon as his name's Sammy,
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 Sammy.
in the car in the back seat when he started jamming and one of the twins was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "Oh this is dope." I was like, "Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool." Not knowing what was going to happen. I was like, "Oh, cool. It's a weird movie about the blues and maybe it's like the lead up to it." Long story short, like it was very interesting going in not knowing anything and seeing with
I
fresh eyes. It was great. And
I need to tell you, I've seen it twice. I almost saw it a third time just because I just this is easily one of my favorite movies of the year, and it wasn't
mhm.
the first time I saw it. But I got to see it in 70 millimeter. I've had multiple discussions about it. We had one of my I'm in a like a film group, and he created like a chat for a bunch of people to come on and just talk about like the themes and everything. He now has to do a third one because so many people want to talk about it, and like these are like super intellectual conversations, and like people
Sure.
are like just digging into all of like the little nuances of everything. So I've been super passionate about it, and I think my experiences have just been incredible. I would trade all of that to see this movie for the first time the way that you got to, because
Yeah,
I
man.
had already been overexposed to a lot of the trailers and what the movie was about. And so for me, like I went in knowing a lot of things that took some of that um surprise and some of that like really just holy shit, what is happening type of vibe that you get when everything goes to shit. Like I knew most of that. Haley
hmm
Steinfeld is a great example. Like I knew exactly what was going to happen to her character
Don't that in
because
the trailer, right?
it's already in the trailer.
Someone told me that later. Yeah.
Dude, the fact that you got to see that for the first time without knowing that that was going to happen, bro, holy shit. Like that, I would literally trade anything to go back in time and have that experience to know absolutely nothing about it and then just see it for the first. Like that's incredible. It's amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. So like I do obviously right out the gate when Sammy goes walking into the church with his broken guitar handle. Spoilers, by the way, just so we're throwing that out there. You kind of know off the bat, okay, dark shit happens,
Yeah.
and just maybe it's my brain. My brain went to okay, like the music industry is full of sin. People do sinful shit in the music industry. They fuck, they do drugs, they do out. So in my head, I was like, oh, so maybe it was like one of those kinds of nights. That's what sinners means. So I wasn't even on to like I knew it was going to be a dark from the poster. I knew it was going to be a dark movie, I didn't know it was going to be like the paranormal movie. And so like right off the bat, that's what my thought was like, okay, it's going to be about the music industry being dark and sinful. And then as things go wrong, obviously when Irish homie goes to that one house and the Native
Rennick.
Americans, yeah, and you're kind of like, oh, that's when I was like, oh shit, okay, this is actually dark shit. Like this is actually some dark shit. But yeah, man, like I kind of like we said, I kind of alluded to in the Thunderbolts review. I kind of want to go into the movies like this more often, where I don't know shit about it because it was so interesting. And we kind of made the joke about From Dusk Till Dawn,
Mhm.
to where From Dusk Till Dawn develops this interesting story about two brothers, not twins, that have this they have this past. They're trying to get shut up, Mike.
Now we cousins.
George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, they look identical, bro.
If you didn't know, they're not twins. But like they weave this story together, and honestly, part of me, a very small part of me, is kind of mad because I would have liked to seen that story unfold without spoilers. The whole vampire thing, like
Yeah.
that story was very interesting. And then when you throw the vampires on top of it,
Mhm.
it's like, oh shit! Like it was very well crafted.
Yeah.
Can I interject here real quick?
Mhm.
Full disclosure to everyone watching, I have not seen the movie. I was here for the Thunderbolts conversation, and I had nothing better to do, so I stuck around. But I do love vampire cinema, and to your point, Mike, we actually this kind of came up in the Thunderbolts discussion though. Because this was the point that I made to Derrick right after I saw Captain America, was that the appearance of Red Hulk in the trailer ruins the movie a bit because
Yeah.
the whole plot of that film is that it's a mystery as to what's going on with Ross, even though most people know outside the film that he becomes the Red Hulk. But if you hadn't put that in all the marketing material, there would be a fun little mystery to figure out, like, is
Yeah.
oh, is it going to happen, isn't it, like whatever. But the fact that you know that going into it sort of ruins the whole movie. And a lot of film marketing is like that nowadays, where I think you brought it up, Mike, is like they need to advertise. They feel like they need to put the hook in to get you into the theater, whereas they don't always. I mean, I only saw one or two different trailers for Sinners, and all the trailers I saw did not show any of the supernatural shit. And I was still intrigued. I mean, I still am going to see the movie. I just haven't had a chance yet. And but apparently, Derrick, there was some stuff that was revealed in the trailers that you saw.
Yeah, so some of the trailers coming up closer to its release really spoiled a lot of the vampire stuff that comes out. They show some characters, like even and again we're doing spoilers, so like they even reveal that one of the brothers becomes a vampire in the
Oh,
trailer. And
oh.
it is just like and one of the major criticisms that I've seen from people who have seen the movie, a lot of it is it took too long to get to the vampires because they went in expecting a vampire film, and you get that, but you also get a very well crafted, well executed, beautifully written character drama about sin and blues and racial disparity and assimilation and gentrification and all of these big ideas that Coogler is trying to work with. You get all of those things, but you will skip over them if you go in thinking like, oh, cool, I'm going to see a vampire movie, and they don't fucking show up until an hour 15 into this movie. Like, yeah, I get it. You'd be pretty pissed, but that's a fault of the marketing, not the movie, because the movie isn't really trying to be a vampire movie until the vampires show up. And even when they do, he's still using the vampires as ways to kind of express a lot of those themes that I just mentioned. And so I think the marketing does a huge disservice here, especially showing like I'd be fine if you just showed that there were vampires in there, and then I think if your criticism is like, "Oh, I didn't come fast enough," well, like, fuck you. Like that's a dumb criticism. But like
Yeah.
showing showing
Stack
one of
is
the
thing.
brothers converting, showing Haley Steinfeld in like full of like. There's a trailer, Mike, and you might have seen it now, but there's a trailer where like it literally shows Haley Steinfeld with her vampire eyes, blood dripping down her mouth, and she literally says one of her best lines, but she says like, we're gonna kill every last one of you. Like, how is that in the trailer? Like,
That's
how is
horrible.
it like
That's awful. That's
she is
awful.
such a vital character to this
Ugh.
movie, and her transition from being a part of the community to transitioning into a vampire
Ugh.
holds so much thematic weight, but it is absolutely ruined by the fact that, like, the minute you sit down, all you're doing is waiting for her to become a vampire and say
Yeah,
the line with blood
because
in her mouth. Like, that's it. That's all you're doing.
if I knew that going into it, well, two things. If I knew that Haley Steinfeld was going to turn and Stack, their names, I always forget their names. Stack, this is
Smoke and
weird.
Stack.
Stack is the red, Smoke is the blue.
Yep.
Okay. But if I knew going in that one of the brothers was going to turn, well, granted, I didn't even know there was fucking vampires, but like, still, yeah, that sucks. Because like you said, you're just waiting now. You're just waiting. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't see that in marketing. It's actually a lesson myself. Like you said, like I kind of, even with like Doomsday coming up, all this shit, I almost want to be like, it's almost impossible. Like I'm just gonna churn out the social media and just go in fresh. Like it was honestly a really cool experience, just not knowing fuck shit about this movie.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
trying. I'm trying now. I'm actively trying to do that with Weapons. So Weapons is the new Zach Kreger movie. He made
yeah,
Barbarian. And I was very fortunate to see Barbarian without knowing anything about it. And that movie is, it's a great movie, but it's the best when you see it for the first time. It
sure.
doesn't hold a lot of weight afterwards because a lot of those reveals are so purposeful for that movie that, like, once you know everything that's going to happen, some of that sting kind of, well, it's still good, but you're not as like enthralled by it. It's like a good one timer. And
Sure.
so this next movie, I'm just like, they released a full trailer, and I have been able to, like, not, well, I don't want to know anything. I saw the teaser and it doesn't show me anything about the movie, and I don't want to know anything else. I don't want to read the synopsis. I don't want the plot. I'm not going down Reddit rabbit holes. Like, I just fucking feed this movie into my veins without me knowing anything about it, because Sinners was
Yeah,
partly ruined for me with the marketing, for
I
sure.
can only imagine. Yeah, it really was like. So I remember, I've only been on one. This is kind of weird. I'm gonna weave it back. Don't worry. I went on a cruise with my now wife in 2017, 2018. I remember just thinking, I was like, wouldn't it be funny if they did like a movie where they marketed it as almost like a rom-com, almost like one of those multi-story rom-coms, kind of like She's Just Not That Into You, or you know what I mean, like those movies like they have multiple stories, and like George Clooney is the captain of the boat. And then like they don't advertise it, but like halfway through the movie, it turns into a zombie movie,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't tell anyone, and it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
I kind of had that vibe going into this, to where like when it just turns south, and it's like, oh shit. But it worked still, like you said, because even the vampire angle on it still worked into all these themes. And like I said, I'm already biased because like as someone who loves blues music
Mm-hmm.
and that coming through, and we're kind of jumping ahead now. I apologize, but like in one of the end credit scenes when Stat comes back,
That's how you do. Pay
well,
attention, Thunderbolts. That's how you fucking do an end credit
oh,
scene.
so I don't even. I shouldn't even. We'll fucking mention now. Like when because even in that clip though,
Mike
I,
doesn't care about spoilers. Like, it doesn't
Yeah, I
bother
don't.
him at
yeah,
all. So
I'm talking about as a blues fan, because even in that clip, he's like, "Hey, yeah, so Smoke made me promise not to blah blah blah, but I've been following your career. Do you still have the old blues in you?" And he was like, "Yeah," and he starts jamming the first song he's saying. I
so
got
good.
fucking chills because
Dude, it's so good.
there is that level of blues
And the
music,
fact that
like.
it's Buddy Guy, who was like a blues god. Like, oh,
Yeah, like it
man, it's
was,
so good.
as a blues fan, like I nerded out during that point, like because there is difference between like blues in the 30s and the 20s and blues now.
Yeah.
And like when he's like, "Do you still have that old blues in you?" and he starts jamming it, I was like, "Oh, whoa." I was like, "This is awesome." Anyway,
Yeah.
back to
Also,
the actual movie. What?
don't feel afraid to talk about any details, because I actually know pretty much everything that happens in the movie, including the scene you just mentioned. I know all that shit from various things that I've watched and
Mhm.
listened to. So I will have even more of a less experience than Derrick had, I guess, when I go see
There you
the
go.
movie.
When you
You know,
finally see it.
what I will say though is, like, if you're and Mike, you're a much more let's say intelligent movie watcher than some people who are just like, we're the fucking vampires. So I think you'll be able to I'm sorry, that criticism just irritated the hell out of me. But I think you'll be able to. One of the things that I think makes Sinners so good is that yes, it's a tale of two movies, right? But that first movie is just as good, if not better, than the second movie.
It was so
Because
good. It was so
whether
good.
or not the vampires show up, like Coogler does such an incredible job. Like he has so much patience and restraint to just start introducing all of these characters, but every single one of them, you're just like, I want to see how all like I don't give a fuck if vampires show up or not. Like I am invested in the twins. I'm invested in their love interests. I'm invested in all of their friends. I'm invested in this town. I'm like every single person that you meet, you're like, I would like to know more about them, please. And
What?
that, and then when the vampires do show up, you're like, oh shit, like I'm invested in all of these people. I don't want any of them to die. Like it's yeah,
Well,
it's,
that's what
it's really good.
I almost want Coogler to go back and just like finish the movie without vampires. Like, granted, I love the
Yeah,
vampires, but almost just finish that movie.
yeah, it's
Just
so good.
yeah, like, it was
It's so
such a
it's
good
so
setup.
enthralling and so
Such a good
engaging.
setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's funny is that the original trailer I saw for the movie didn't feature any of the supernatural shit. It just showed like you saw some scenes where like somebody would be like holding the gun, not necessarily firing it, but like the way it was filmed, you was like you knew something was going down in this movie at some point, but a lot of it looked like a period drama. And I was already on board at that point. And then I
Yeah.
found out later that there were vampires in it. And then I was like, where the fuck do I go? Like, what's on it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was so interesting. And then I remember Derek, I'm gonna cite you. You posted something where you were talking about your words, the juxtaposition of the blues music in the club and Irish homie doing his Irish dance outside.
Oh,
And when I actually watched the movie, because like when I saw your screenshots, I was like, I don't know the context of this. And
yeah.
then watching the movie, I was like, this is interesting. And kind of going off that, there hasn't been a lot of vampire movies. There has been some, but like where it's as brutal as this one, to where you kind of empathizing with the vampires.
A little
Because
bit.
because at first, I always forget his name. Irish homie is what I call him.
Remick. His name
Remick.
is
Okay,
Remick.
Remick. You kind of think he's just the evil asshole. He's the from Dusk Till Dawn vampire who's gonna rip your throat out. But then as things go on, you're like, is this guy actually kind of preaching right now? Like, is he actually kind of making a point?
He's got some of that Thanos effect a little bit. Where
Yeah,
you're like
and
the longer you listen to him, you're like, I mean, he's out of line, but he's not. But he's right.
but he's right. And so the moment, and we're kind of jumping ahead in the review, but we're jumping all over the place with this. I think both of us.
No, but this juxtaposition is something that I really want to talk about because
Go.
it's probably one of my favorite things to just constantly think about because I think there is so much nuance into both of them. So one with the I Lied to You scene, right, where Sammy does his song, that is probably one of the most boldest, transcendent scenes I think I've ever seen in movies. Like I just the audacity, and I mean that as a compliment, not like not like being pejorative, like the audacity of Coogler to try to recreate past, present, and future of this music through this just incredible wonder in this church. Like it just it's one of the most beautifully constructed scenes I think I've ever seen. Like I could wax poetic about it all day long. But the undertones of it, when you compare it to what goes on in Rocky Road to Dublin, which is the Irish jig that happens outside, what I genuinely love about both of those scenes is one, they're both just great. Like they're both really great scenes and they're really fun. But what you start to see is that Remick, for all his talk about equality and all his talk about kind of like, yeah, like why would you want to not be a part of this when I can give you the freedom that you're really looking for? When you talk about blues music, this is literally the preposition that white people gave to black people to steal their music and create rock and roll. Like it is literally the gentrification and assimilation and exploitation of blues music represented in a transcendent experience of black people using their real music to experience their ancestors. And this white guy who doesn't want that, he wants that experience, but he wants it for himself. He doesn't give a shit about Sammy. He tells him, I want your stories and I want your music. He wants to connect to his ancestors and he's willing to exploit everybody in there in order to get it. And then you start to talk about what freedom actually means. And the juke joint becomes like the sanctuary. It's like literally a church. It's the real church that Sammy wants to be a part of. And everything that they're doing is all on their free will. They're experiencing the freedom of the music that they're creating for themselves. And it does become this spiritual kind of hymnal experience for them. But then you go outside, and as fun as it is, none of those people are in control. Remick is the center of everything. If you watch I Lied to You, and you watch that whole sequence, once it starts like changing and it starts becoming like the future and the present, Sammy fades into the background. He's no longer like the centerpiece of it. It just becomes everybody. It becomes the whole ancestry of blues and everything that it creates for Black culture. But then when you go outside, Remick is the center of everything. Everybody is dancing around him. He's the one leading the chorus. They literally hoist him up and praise him for this thing because they're not in control. Mm-hmm. There's no freedom they don't know Rocky Road to Dublin. They've never fucking heard that song before in their life. Like, it's all Remick channeling these people. And so it's like, it's fake equality. It's fake freedom. And the levels and layers that this goes to, and the fact that he's Irish is so purposeful. Like, that is not an accident.
Nope.
And even the song that he chooses, because I have played this song out, like, it's on my workout playlist. That song is a fucking banger. But even the song that he uses, like the Rocky Road to Dublin, is literally about an Irish man leaving his home, going to London, getting beat up by Londoners, and then getting saved by his own people. It is literally about the community that Irish people that had, but it's trying to compare itself to the oppression and exploitation of Black people, which happens all the time. And like, Coogler knows what he's doing. It's so fucking good, man. It's so good.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to follow that up with that, but
well, it is this. I mean, this is a sign of a great filmmaker to be able to take something as showing the monstrosity that they have been through, like certain people have been through, and to personify it in a way that, I mean, just shows it in that light. But also it's on two fronts, right? Because you have the people that are going to this movie, where are the fucking vampires at, right? So when the vampires show up, they're going to be like, finally, oh, I just came, right? They're going to have their vampires. They're not going to think about it on a different level. But then you're going to have the other people that are going to go to this movie, and they're going to be able to enjoy it on a different level. And it's sort of, it's clever filmmaking because it appeals to more people, I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I do like, I mean, I talk about a lot of those things, right? But like, it is still, we brought it up, right? The From Dusk Till Dawn, in the way that it's paced, like, yeah, it very much is like a much smarter, more intelligent From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
And
like,
it is. But at the same time, like, Coogler is operating well within the genre tropes. Like, all of the genre, like, he's making a vampire genre movie. Like, he reminds you that, like, of all the things I'm trying to say, like, don't forget, like, I'm making a smart From Dusk Till Dawn here. Like, the vampires are brutal. The climax is a little rushed. The lore is kind of just out there. Like, he's still operating within that framework. But it takes a really, really smart person to do all of that and then say something with it.
Well, 100%. If he doesn't have a Cheech Marin type character going a pussy monologue for 5 minutes, I don't think I want to see it now.
I'm pretty sure Delroy Lindo shits himself, doesn't he?
Listen, hey,
he's so fucking good at this
movie, speaking of which, listen, from a young age, for whatever reason, I forgot what the first movie was, I've always loved Delroy Lindo. I can't tell you the first movie I saw him in. Let's leave Congo out of it. But
don't besmirch Congo.
I love Congo. I'm just saying, let's leave it out of it. Okay,
that's fair.
Okay, I love it, but let's just. But I've always loved Delroy Lindo, and when I saw that he was in this movie, because like I said, I went and saw it based on the poster and from what you were saying, Derrick, on Facebook, and I saw Delroy Lindo was in it, and immediately I was like, okay, this movie has to be good, because Delroy Lindo, even though he's not like a superstar, he doesn't do bad shit.
Yeah.
Have you not seen Romeo Must Die?
Congo and Romeo Must Die. Leave that aside. It was early in his career, Mike. Leave those aside, okay?
Early in his career.
I was gonna say it wasn't even early in his career. The guy's been acting forever.
Oh, he's always been old. He's like Steve Martin. Okay, he's always been old, but it was early. Just Romeo Must Die aside. Okay. Also, I liked Romeo Must Die.
I do too, but it's not a good movie.
No, it's not. It's not at all. And neither is Congo, for being honest. But
you guys are really derailing what I'm trying to say. If Delroy Lindo is in it, I'm going to enjoy it. That includes Congo. That includes Romeo Must Die.
Anyway, go through Delroy Lindo's IMDb and pick out all the bad movies. But
that's the next episode.
I'm in. Let's do it. You know what? Let's do a Delroy Lindo movie draft. And we'll draft his Mount Rushmore, and we'll just go through his filmography, and we'll green, red, whatever we need.
We did it for Nick Cage. We'll do it again.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
All right. But sorry, him being in the movie, I was like, okay, it kind of gave it before I saw it credibility. I was like, cool. And of course, he smashed the character. He was so fucking good. Great. He's so good.
Guys, he was in the Point Break remake.
Ooh, was he?
Ooh. Yeah. Ooh, my boy Delroy's he's not holding up a good case, man.
Congo, Romeo Must Die, Point Break remake, all aside.
I like that because Mike hasn't seen the movie, he's just gonna go down the IMDb and for like the next 20 minutes, every 5 minutes, he's be like, "Hey guys, he was also in Geely. Did you know that he was?" Yeah.
He was also in the Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan. I'm not sure if you know this.
I don't know if you guys know this. He was also in The One with Jet Li. Another
great movie. Great movie. No, fuck you. Great movie. Great movie.
No, it's not. It's not even in like the top 20 of Jet Li movie.
I love The One. Jason Statham, Jet Li, Delroy Lindo. Can't go wrong. Great movie. Oh, wow. I'll defend it. Anyways,
Sinners. The point is, he's very good in Sinners.
He's very good. He's very good.
He is very good in Sinners. He is probably one of my favorite characters in that movie.
He's great. He's so great.
He is so funny, but also like the dude. He's just bringing like a gravitas to this role where you're just like, fuck, man. When that guy's on, he is on. That monologue he has when he's telling the story about his friend getting lynched, and it's so. Again, this is just a testament to how smart Coogler is when he's filming something. But that scene, it's not just that Delroy Lindo is just fucking firing on all cylinders and just feels like such a real, raw human person, like retelling the story that like you believe happened to him. Like you believe that this story happened to him as he's retelling it. What I love that Coogler does is he never shows you. There's no flashback. It doesn't leave the car that he's telling the story in. It stays on these characters, but he uses the sound of almost like Delroy Lindo is remembering what's happening. We don't get to see it, but we get to hear it in the background. Like it's buried in the recess of his mind and it's starting to creep up as he tells the story. And that scene is just so amazing. And he has one of my favorite lines in the entire movie where he tells Sammy, he's like, white people like the blues just fine. They don't like when we play it. And I was just like, fuck, man. Preach, Lindo. Preach, bro.
And I have commentary on that, too, as far as blues music goes, but different conversation. I had a conversation with someone. I was like, yeah, like white people love country, but when black people sing it and it's blues, they don't like it.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, like, I forgot the actors' names. What was the guy? The bouncer.
Oh, Cornbread?
Cornbread. I couldn't remember his name. He's one of those actors who pops up in random things, and you're like, oh, that guy. He was great.
He's a that guy. He's a that guy for sure. But he's so good in this movie too. Like, especially he doesn't do much when he's not a vampire, but when he gets that one scene about trying to get invited back,
that was
and everybody's just like, you a big ass dude. Why can't you just burst in this door?
You've been in here. Like, what do you?
His whole demeanor and his whole like he. And I'm gonna say this, and I know it's gonna like burn in people's ears, but like this is what he is doing. He starts getting into like that Uncle Tom house guy. Like that's the kind of person that he's trying to be now because he's being controlled by Remick. But he's trying to appeal to this whiteness. He's trying to appeal to this fake equality and everything. Oh, why can't we all just be friends? Like the way that he's so good in that scene, man.
So the way Coogler treats the vampires as far as presenting them, I actually really enjoyed because he followed a lot of the tropes like we just talked about with him, Cornbread, where you have to be invited in because the ones Stack and Haley Steinfeld to where they transform inside, but as soon as they can, they run the fuck out
Mhm.
because the lore is you have to be invited in. I thought he treated it pretty well, while also almost humanizing them in a sense.
Mhm.
Um, Stack's a great example, and Haley Steinfeld. Like when, uh, side note, Asian people in deep Southern accents is always going to be uncomfortable for me. But moving forward, when the Asian woman, the name eludes me,
Grace.
pretty much says, "Come get it," and invites them in.
Or she says, "Come on in, motherfuckers," is what she
Yeah,
says.
but she says, "Pretty much, come get it," and it's like, oh, it's on now. I remember thinking like, oh, that's an invitation.
She has a
Okay,
Star-Lord moment, Mike.
yeah,
She
of
has a
course.
straight up Star-Lord moment
I'm
where
not
like
even mad about it. Yeah.
literally like she's getting the Star-Lord hate too because everybody is like, this bitch fucked it up for everybody. Because it's literally like the way the scene happens is everyone is trying to like gear up and arm themselves, and they're literally telling her like, because so basically her husband has already been turned into a vampire, and then Remick basically says like, look, if you don't let us in, we're gonna drive down to town and kill your daughter, and we're going to bring your daughter over, and she's going to be a vampire, so you're going to be the only one that's not. So she clearly is like, she's distraught and
She's
she wants to protect her
compromised. Yeah.
daughter. Like she's compromised. But every single person is trying to like hold her back and calm her down and tell her, no, we need to be ready. We can't just do this. Like, you got to stay calm. And then she just lights a Molotov cocktail on fire, and it's like, come on in, motherfuckers. And then all hell breaks loose.
Invites them in. Yep. But during that scene, and this is where I found it interesting. So shit's going crazy. People are slashing, whatever. And so when Smoke's woman, whose name I'm horrible names,
Annie.
Annie, is dying, and she's like, "Kill me," and he does. Haley Steinfeld vampire immediately is like, "Fuck,"
Yeah.
and dips. And I remember thinking like, that's interesting. And then you find out what happened with Stack later, and it's almost like there is a human aspect to the vampires who are like controlled by Irish homie, Rebick.
Remick.
Remick.
Yep.
There's still a humanity to them to where it's like, no, we want you to be a part of this.
They want
So
everybody. Like
yeah,
they want
so
everybody to come over. It's everybody or no one type of thing. And
yeah,
that's
so when she sees Annie, as you said, die, it's almost like a we lost. Like there's a human moment. She's like, "Fuck," and she runs, and that kind of goes forward where like Stack and Smoke when they have their face off, and you find out that Smoke said, "Just I'll let you live, just don't fuck with Sammy," and he doesn't. And then that credit scene, the post credit
yeah.
scene, like that
I
humanity, I haven't seen in a movie before
Yeah, it's
with
really good.
vampires. It's
I do
interesting.
want to let Mike know that the Annie is a much better performer than Asian whatever his name is and From Dusk Till Dawn. And the whole Kill Me Kate is significantly more emotionally
It's
impactful.
better. It's a little
Here,
better. Yeah, it's a little
I
better.
just need you to know because I can feel it. I can feel the you thinking in your mind, is this just held up by clear mannequins and
No, 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 no,
probably
no,
one
no.
of the worst actors on screen of all time?
No, look, I know the difference between Ryan Coogler as a director and Robert Rodriguez as a director. Okay, I know the acting quality is going to be infinitely better.
Just want to ease your mind because they are very similar moments and they come almost exactly at the same point. And
Yeah.
I think the third act, I actually think when shit hits the fan, it's actually when the movie isn't as good. I like the violence, I like the action, but I actually think it's where he gets a little lost in the sauce. And I think that's where you can kind of get the most comparisons to From Dusk Till Dawn. I know you can give that framework, but everything that's happening is so much smarter and so much more purposeful. But here, when he's just doing straight genre action, I think things get a little muddled and like there's a lot of when I so when she opens the doors, right, it's like there's I don't know 100 vampires out there and like only 10 of them come in even though they're all invited, and then it's got that
Yeah.
it's got you know what it and this hat look, it's just a genre trope, it happens in movies all the time, but like you got this big old battle, they had to like kind of remind us that there were people we didn't see that still lived in this juke joint because you have to actually kill people that don't matter for these vampires. And there were plenty of moments where it was like, who the fuck are they killing? Like it's like all main characters in this juke joint. Who the fuck is dying right now? But it has those moments where like everybody gets to pause and talk to each other in the middle of this big giant battle, and it's like there are not enough of people still alive to be able to do this kind of stuff, guys.
Like you almost imagine, like behind the camera, all the other vampires are kind of like, all right, can we come forward? Like,
it's
give them a moment,
it's a little. So I think that's where things kind of fall off the wheels a little bit. I think there's some editing stuff that goes on. Like you can, I know he's trying to do the dual role, and I think for the most part it looks pretty good. And I think he does a pretty good job in like either keeping them apart or like when they're together, it doesn't feel, you don't feel like the clear, like, you know, duplicate shot or whatever. But when they're fighting, like there's a number of moments where like you can clearly see the stunt performer, like very clearly it is not Michael B. Jordan. Like, and that's fine. I understand you got to work with a stunt performer, but at the same time, like he gets a little lost. Like you can tell that the actual vampire action is not what he's interested in, but you need a big, bold climax to this in order to like make the story move forward. But to me, honestly, as fun as it's the weakest part of the movie, in my opinion.
Well, I think historically his action finales have been pretty lackluster. I mean, even Black Panther,
he lost.
Awful.
It's a bad looking movie. Like, and that movie's great, but you're right. That whole sequence is just kind of like, oh yeah, this doesn't look good, and it's staged really poorly.
I would say, even though it was like a cool dramatic thing, when all the vampires start rushing in, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like I'm repeating what you said, because like it's 100 of them, and there's these small, slow moments, and it's like, how are they just not getting mauled right now? But it's the genre.
Oh, that's way too many vampires.
I mean,
there's not enough to drink inside, guys. That's too many vampires.
We're rationing. But you're right. And I think it makes sense because, like, kind of to add to your point, going up to the vampire invasion, if you will, there are all these stories being told, all these stories being interwoven together, and then the vampires come. And in real life, if that happened, like all those stories don't fucking matter really anymore because we're just trying to survive now. So it makes sense though. Like you're creating this story, and then once the vampires come, it kind of falls apart. Yeah. That's just realistic, but like from a movie going perspective, like it becomes weaker. Even though it makes sense.
But what's funny is after this big confrontation that feels really messy, as soon as they get back outside and Remick is having that conversation with Sammy and he's about to convert him and all of that, like, sure, there's a lot of movie tropes, but it looks better and it looks real good. And it's interesting as hell. And watching all of those vampires like light up, there's this incredible shot where you see them all, they're all screaming in pain because they feel whatever Remick feels. And then Remick bursts in flames, and you start to see little individual vampires start to burst in flames because the sun comes up. But then it pans out, and you get this bird's eye view of these vampires trying to flee the sun and then bursting into flames in like this, almost like a relay of them falling. And it looks fucking incredible. So when he gets to do stuff like that, you're just like, oh yeah, dude, like you can do the genre shit. And then immediately after that, when you have the, him, because the way I like to position it is you have the monsters of the night and then the monsters of the day, because you still have the KKK, you still have racism, and they're both still just as oppressing.
Hold on, because I want to say yes. So when Smoke, he sends Sammy off, and he's kind of standing there just taking it in, and as soon as he pulls the chest out and starts pulling the guns out, I was like, oh yeah, they're coming, and I was like, this isn't over yet. I was like, yes. Yeah. I was like, oh, 100%.
Yeah. That action sequence is better than the vampire action sequence.
Oh, it was so good.
That shit is so good. And it's just guns and dudes. And it looks fucking great. Like Michael B. I am not a big fan of Michael B. Jordan. I'm actually pretty out on him. I don't find him really all that good, even though he's had some decent performances. Like I still kind of feel like he's a little one note. But he is fucking phenomenal in this movie. Like, this is my favorite Michael B. Jordan performance, and it's not even close.
I will say this. I don't see the justification for twins. You could have hired two different actors to play brothers.
So
That being said, though,
so they did though. So originally, Michael B. Jordan was not supposed to play dual roles. Originally, they were just supposed to be brothers and not twins, and it was supposed to be Jonathan Majors.
oh,
That was the original. That was the original.
got it.
That was the original
Got it.
casting. What they were trying to do, and then all
Things
that shut down
happened.
with Jonathan
Things
Majors.
happened.
And
Things
then
happened. Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan was like, "Fuck it, I'll just be both."
But that I was gonna say. That being said, I could always tell the difference between Smoke and Stack.
Yes.
So
Yes.
kudos
And not
to
just
him.
because of their colors.
No.
Like, yes, their colors help because you see them blue, so you kind of have to have like their color. So again, this is just how deep Coogler is thinking about, like all the way down to the costuming. Smoke has the Irish
tweed
hat.
cap. The tweed cap. Yep.
Is the tweed cap because they ripped off the Irish mob, and then Stack has the regular gangster fedora because they robbed the Italians, because they robbed both of those mafia guys, and then they both emulate each part of the mafia that they robbed. Which I just think is just fun. It's just one of those little things that like only a dumbass film nerd like me would even point out, but like, he did it on purpose. And so
it makes 100% sense. Yeah.
So their styling matches their attitude, but you can tell like they're the duality of man, and there's all kinds of other things going in there. But Michael B. Jordan makes two distinct brothers. Like, they are two distinct people, and you feel that all the way through the movie.
100%. 100%.
Would you say he's on the same level as Jean-Claude Van Damme in Double Impact?
I mean,
not quite.
That's a high bar to clear. It's tough. So I would say it goes there, and then Michael B. Jordan for sure,
and then Multiplicity,
Jordan, yeah, and then Multiplicity, yeah, for sure, yeah, good one, good call, good call.
Yeah, and on a different note, my experience with Haley Steinfeld has been Pitch Perfect and Hawkeye. Seeing her in this role, it made me feel some ways.
Did you? Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll do one better. Did you ever see True Grit, where she first showed up?
I didn't see True Grit. No,
dude. She is like.
She's a kid though. She's a kid though. Yeah.
10. She's like 10 years old.
Yeah.
So imagine that being your introduction to Haley Steinfeld, and then hearing the shit that comes out of her mouth in this movie. Listen, I know she's a grown ass woman. Like, I get it.
I was relieved. I was relieved. Listen, I Googled. I was relieved when it said 28. I was like, okay, she's 28. She's 28. Okay. She's 28.
No, I get it. She is a grown ass woman. It's been 15 years since 2010 or whatever it is. I get it, but like, I have always thought of her as a child, and like the first line out of her mouth, I was like, I don't think you can say that to somebody. Like, young lady, what are you doing?
When she was churned, and she says to Stack, she's like, "Don't you want this pussy?" I was like, Haley,
no. Give Mike the right line, which is, you can rob trains and banks, but you can't steal this pussy for a night. Bro, what the fuck?
Immediately I was like, hey, Haley. Keep your voice down, say it again. Keep your voice down, say it again. And then even the back shot when Sammy was going in and you see her riding, I was like, Haley.
Dude,
Haley.
I listen, I wish I was a better person, but I've committed to memory every single horrible thing she says in this movie.
I just love
dude,
the idea of Mike of Mike having to just like, hold on, I'm feeling feelings. Let me just Google. Okay, I can feel these feelings. It's fine.
I waited till the movie was over.
That's almost exactly how it happens, though. The things that come out of her mouth.
When
before that scene where he's like, "Baby, you're drooling," and she just looks down and she goes, "Oh, do you want some?" And
I didn't like that.
What is happening?
I didn't like that. No, I didn't like that. But it wasn't just me. Dozens of phones in the theater were lighting up. It was Googling. Dude, the drool line, I'm not into the drool thing. I was like, girl, look, no.
Yeah, to your credit, she does have a very youthful appearance. I mean, there's a reason that she gets
Yeah.
away with still playing the character of Hawkeye. What is that character's name?
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop. Yeah, there's a reason she gets away with playing Kate Bishop because she looks super young still. So
yeah, it's just such a major departure from
anything
everything.
else.
Like she's never done anything like this. And look, props to her. Like she's phenomenal.
No, she killed it. She fucking killed it.
She's so great. But it is jarring. Like it
was again, uncomfortable.
I've committed to memory. The first word out of her mouth, what he tells her, like when she sees her at the train station and she confronts him and he tells her like, oh, I told you to get the fuck away from me. And then she's like, oh yeah, but then you also stuck your tongue in my coos and fucked me so hard. So I figured you changed your mind. And I was like, is this who you're going to be the whole movie, Haley?
Yeah, so you guys didn't
like
see
Hawkeye?
the unrated cut of Bumblebee? Because I'm pretty sure that line is exactly from that.
I'm gonna have to Pornhub that one. I don't think I've seen that version yet. Did Axel Braun?
She said it's Shia LaBeouf. She said it's Shia LaBeouf. Yeah. But there is that.
I just want Bumblebee. God damn it!
I wanted to just point that out. Like there were moments with her, I was like, "Oh, you are a woman.
Yeah,
you're not a girl."
Yeah.
The spit line. It could have been any actress. I'm not cool. I'm not okay with the spit shit. So I was the whole time. I was like, "Oh."
It's not. It wasn't because I'm not into it either. But at the same time, it was just like, "Oh, we're going there. Like we're
there.
We're there. Like she's pushing the limits." Yeah. No, she's great. I'm happy for her. Like, look, she is an adult, and like it's great for her to take on an adult role. But it is 100%. Jarring because she has not been an adult in almost anything you've seen her in, pretty much ever. So yeah, seeing her for the first time at like 10 years old and then being like, oh shit, you're 28. Okay, hold on. I have questions.
She is 28. She is 28. Yeah, I mean, sorry. Her aside, everything about it was great. Even yeah, it was just an overall great movie. And then Sammy going back to the church at the end and holding on to the guitar.
So
I think my favorite scene in the whole movie was the post-credit scene where Mr. Maxwell. So it's like decades later, Sammy's a established blues singer. Derrick, you said that I did look it up, but established blues singer who played
they got
him.
an actual.
Yeah, it's Buddy Guy, who is like a blues legend. And even the movie is framed around. I think it's Robert Johnson, I believe. But it's framed around a very famous blues legend of the reason this guy was so good at blues was because he went down to the Mississippi Delta, made a deal with the devil, and that's where he got all of his, like, it's a very, very known legend. And so Coogler is playing with that in that regard. And then you get Buddy Guy, who is very much a blues phenomenon, playing older Sammy.
Yeah. And like I said, a huge fan of blues music, but I'm not like one that knows the artist. I just listen to it and that's it.
Yeah. But and I don't either. This was all just like
100%
research of like, yeah.
But that scene with them, when he comes in, Stack and Haley Steinfeld comes in, and they had that conversation. I think that was my favorite scene in the whole movie.
It's great.
It's kind of a funny. I saw some memes online like Coogler didn't have to make it like a kind of mid-credit scene because it's not Marvel. Like you could just, but it was still a cool scene to have, to where they kind of just talk about it, and that's where I kind of mentioned earlier how Coogler almost humanized some of the vampires to where he says like, yeah, we were free, like. Mm-hmm. He kind of alludes to, not in the words, but alludes to like, I wanted my brother to come with us on this journey. Yeah. Like I genuinely wanted this, and I'm not some piece of shit. Like obviously he didn't fuck with Sammy, and like I said earlier, when he said like, do you still have that old blues in you? And he breaks out the old blues. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I loved it. But it was so like it was an interesting take on decades later. After this night, and they even said like, yeah, that night was the night that we like truly felt free.
Yeah.
And they all said it, and it was so interesting. And this is where we'll get into something else in a minute, but like Coogler really did, because he wrote it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an original screenplay.
Yeah, he wrote it and directed
it. But
he Tarantino'd it, yeah. To where he kind of just weaved all these things together that really didn't have any business being weaved together.
Yeah.
Um, blues music, civil rights, social rights with vampires. Like,
Vampires.
is this kind of this weird thing? And it works though.
Yeah.
It was really good. Like, I was
Yeah, and
surprised.
it works in the end, and it works because I think of that post credit scene, which is really just it's the end of the movie, but
Yeah,
that scene captures all of those things in just a single moment,
yeah,
right? You see, it encapsulates everything that's already happened, but it shows us what happens when like Stack and Mary, like they finally get to be together. They get to live long enough to where them being together is no longer an issue. And that's the thing that's basically driven them apart while they were alive. Is
yeah.
like, that's why Stack is so, they have that scene where he tells her, like, I love you, but like you trying to be with me is a death sentence. Like, we can't go live in Arkansas with your rich white people. Like, I don't care if that's what you want. It's the only way
I
for
think
me to keep
even
you
he said
alive.
he's like,
Like,
I found you a white man. Like, go live
yeah,
with the
right.
white man. Yeah,
Yeah. So they get to live long enough to be together, but then all through their conversation with old Sammy, they realize that, like, yes, living forever also has its consequences, like you talked about with their humanity, where it's like, yeah, they get to live forever and they get to be together, but at the same time, like, Stack will never see a sunset again, or he'll never see the sunrise. He'll never see his brother again. Like, those things are gone from his life forever, and Sammy being able to make them reflect on that instead of it being like, yeah, we're gonna kill Sammy, we're just gonna bring him on now, right? Like, that's the way that these typical genre post credit scenes would end. But Coogler again is just like, no, like, I want these characters to have a definitive end without needing a violent resolution, and I want them to reflect on the things that happened before that night, because we spent so much time developing their lives and showing you the story of this period drama, and this is what happens after everything that they went through. And it's such a beautiful scene. It's so well crafted. But
yeah,
it is
100%.
honestly, it's like that stamp of approval of like, yeah, this is almost a masterpiece. Like, that scene like solidifies it as being one of the best movies of the year for sure.
It was, yeah, like I said, that scene itself, like I didn't stay for the end of credit scene where it was Sammy just playing the guitar,
Mm-hmm.
for reasons. But like we stayed for that scene, and yeah, it was like by itself that could have been a short film.
Yeah.
Just this idea of the vampire who was there when you were a kid and did all this shit. Like it was just very clever. Like it's hard to find original shit now. And the way that Coogler weaved all this together, it was very good. And as I said when we first started discussing it, going into it without seeing any trailer or knowing really a lot about it was so interesting and so refreshing to see that.
Yeah.
I
Very
would
good
like to
movie.
I would like to point out that even though you guys said you liked both movies, this review has been the inverse of the other one, because you basically gushed about what you loved for the majority with very little criticisms, whereas the other one was the complete opposite of that.
Yeah,
That's true. You're not wrong.
yeah, yeah,
That's true. And look, it's again, I think some of that has to do with, this is truly, it's an original story from a director who has proven himself to be very good, but also I think one of the things that Coogler did is he worked in that machine, borrowed all the things that work from the Marvel experience, and then brought that to a project he actually gives a shit about. And you see that, like, you see a lot of lessons that he learned from the Marvel sheet, and not just in like how he writes or how he directs, but just in how he crafts story, what he's trying to convey. All of the, you can tell like this is a very proven director, able to just do whatever he wants. And honestly, we need more of that. We need more people like this to just come in and basically be like, look, because he said, he's straight up like, I know people are all worried in Hollywood about like his perpetuity and him getting the rights back, which doesn't ever happen. But he he literally just wrote the script, sent it to all the studios, and was like, whoever gives me the most money, you get to make my movie. Was just straight up like, I got the clout. You give me the money and I'll make the movie. And Warner Brothers happened to take him up on the offer, but then he added that little addendum that was like, okay, and then after 25 years, this movie belongs to me forever, which is crazy, but it's also like, when you look at it from that standpoint, you see the broader meta text of the script that he wrote, where it's like, yeah, black people didn't get to do that. White people just stole their music and they never got it back. So Coogler put in this little addendum that's like, yeah, I'll sell my script to white people, but in 25 years, that shit belongs to me. That shit is just so crazy to me. And I need more directors like this to be able to do stuff like that, because we are so living in this era of just nothing but IP machine, where you get these great directors that are very good at things, and all they do is get brought in to just sit in a chair and let the machine move on. There's no actual input that they're giving to these things. And it sucks because we're robbed of really great stories. And Sinners proves that. For any criticism that you can have, this is a fucking phenomenon, dude. The fact that they are bringing it back into IMAX and kicking out the Thunderbolts to take over the IMAX theaters again. And all of those screenings are sold out in week 4 for an original genre horror movie. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, but
that does not happen.
The problem is that all those executives are going to take the wrong fucking message.
Oh, of course.
Let's make it a franchise, baby.
Yeah, of course. We're going to get Sinners 2 Electric Boogaloo. I know.
Sinners 2, Sinners Tokyo Drift.
But maybe it goes the same route as From Dusk Till Dawn. There was a few straight to video.
Oh, yeah.
Then a TV series.
Which is really good, by the way. I don't know if you've actually watched the series.
I don't watch the TV series.
The series is actually really good. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I have watched that one. The movies are absolute trash. But
yeah.
The TV series is actually pretty good. Yeah, if you ever feeling frisky, the TV series is pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely am still. I'm super pumped to go see this movie. As soon as I can get, I just haven't had fucking time. But I mean, based on everything that you guys have said about it, glowing reviews, I'm even more pumped to see it. And I think we can all just agree that we'll remember where we were when Delroy Lindo was in Broken Arrow,
Great movie.
Oh, Broken Arrow. We used to make movies in this country. We really did. We used to just do stuff. It's I miss those days.
I mean, I don't want to. He was in Malcolm X as well. I don't want to discount the films that Delroy Lindo has been in, but
he was also in Get Shorty, which is phenomenal.
But he was also in Pros and Cons and some other questionable Sahara.
Was he in that with Matt McConaughey?
Yep.
Oh, now I'm really excited to do Delroy Lindo Drive.
I'll rephrase. I'll rephrase my thesis about Delroy Lindo.
Now, could it be that he is the best part of anything that he's in? Maybe he's the best part of Sahara. None of us just want to sit through Sahara to find out. Maybe.
And being the best part of Sahara is like the skinniest kid at fat camp, to be fair. But he's still the skinniest kid.
That's right. Yeah, still a win.
I forgot he was in The Hard Way with Michael J. Fox.
Oh, you have his fucking IMDb up, don't you?
Oh, no, he does. I knew he did. I knew he did. When he was firing off those movies, I was like, no, he's... Yeah.
Yeah, no, now I remember, because he plays he's the police captain in that movie.
That's
James
amazing.
Woods, LL Cool J. You haven't seen The Hard Way.
I'm gonna.
I feel like I might have, but not enough to remember it. So I'm gonna put it on my watch list.
Quick rundown. Michael J. Fox plays an action movie star who feels like he's not, he doesn't do his own stunts or whatever like that. So he wants to get real police experience to really crack this role that he has coming up as a cop. And so he convinces them to partner him with a real cop so he can get some real experience. And it's James Woods is the real cop. And it's one of those kind of action comedy kind of films.
I love it. I'm so sold. Great. I'm so sold. I can't wait to watch this movie.
Next episode of The Fake Philosophers, we review, what was it called?
The Hard Way.
The Hard Way, yeah.
Yeah.
And we do the Delroy Lindo draft.
And the Delroy Lindo draft.
But yeah, if you guys haven't seen Sinners, Mike, I'm really excited to hear your thoughts when you see it. I think it's a movie you're really going to dig, mainly just because I know I kind of know some of the things that you like in movies, and I know you like good solid period pieces.
Oh yeah.
Especially with like really solid production design, and you like kind of like that historical drama, and there's so much of that in here. Then I also know you like vampires, and like being able to combine those two things in a movie like this, I think you're really gonna dig it. I really do.
I'm worried that like we've hyped it up too much.
We might have, we
and
might have.
and then he's gonna go into it and be like, I don't really care that much about Highly Sane. Like she's not that sexy. She's
I mean,
still a child.
that's the like my brain doesn't work like most other people's. Like when like some people get so offended about spoilers, I can know every single fucking detail about a movie and go in and still enjoy it like I never knew anything about it.
Yeah.
That's just how my mind works. And so you guys raving about it's not going to influence me one way or the other.
For Sinners, I mean some of it was I saw it in 70 millimeter, but when I actually liked it even more the second time because now all the surprises were pulled away and I knew what to expect, but I'd also been listening to the soundtrack, so like the music really took a hold of me this time, and like I kind of knew what was coming up, and so I got excited about some of my favorite scenes. I got to rehear some of my favorite lines, so I think it actually has a lot of really good rewatchability. And so while again going all the way back to the beginning of the conversation, I would love to have the experience that Glennie had of just like, yeah, I don't know anything about this. I'm just going to see it. Like that to me is the best way to see it. But you knowing everything and then me just kind of knowing like what you like in movies, I do think you'll really enjoy it. And even if you know all of these things that are coming up, I think they're all executed so well that honestly, it doesn't matter. Like once you see it in context, you're like, oh shit, yeah, that was pretty good.
I'd agree too. So I since I watched it in theaters, I've kind of not in its entirety, but I've watched it in a very legal way in my living room. A couple just skipping around in scenes, like not in its entirety, but skip around in scenes. And I agree. I think it's a movie that can be repeated and watched again and again and enjoyed. Whereas Derek, I forgot what movie you referenced earlier, to where you said you watched it and then upon rewatching it because of the twists, it kind of ruins it and
Oh,
it's not the same.
Barbarian.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, Barbarian.
My
Yeah.
example of that is Assault on Precinct 13.
Okay, yeah.
If you once you watch it, it's great, and then you watch it again, you're like, oh, this okay.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know, man. They assault that precinct every time. Every time I watch it.
touche, they do. But with Sinners, it does seem like the repeatability is it is repeatable. Like you can watch
you
it.
know what it has? It in repeatability where it has like a major spoiler, but it does you can watch it. The Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a movie where like
Great example.
it doesn't matter if you know everything that's gonna happen. It's just fucking fun to watch. And
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter that the ending is spoiled. Like it's not undone by the ending or whatever. Like it's such a good movie that you're like, yeah, I don't give a shit. I want to watch this scene again because it's great. Like that's the kind of
Especially
that's
that one because you also do find yourself looking for all the once you
yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
you're trying to look for that shit as you're watching it again. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
Trying to find the hints. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
good stuff.
That's
Dude, I'll wax poetic about Sinners all goddamn day. So you might as well just cut us off. We got to go to bed, dude. Like I will.
it's getting there.
Yeah,
Yeah. No.
I could talk about this movie forever. Like it is a movie that just will not leave my mind. Because I just keep finding deeper and deeper things to uncover and discuss and find out. Like it just I haven't wanted to rewatch a movie in theaters in a really long time. Like I'm always down to rewatch a movie, but like go back to the theater a week after seeing it. There hasn't been a movie, even some of my favorite movies of the last couple of years, I haven't wanted to do that. And Sinners I was like, no, I have to see it again. I have to.
I believe it because every time Glennie couldn't remember someone's name, you were like Cornbread. His name's Cornbread.
Yep.
Like
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know everybody, bro.
His name is Joe T, not Joe C, Joe T.
No, I know every single character in this movie.
I actually agree. So I haven't gone back to see it in theaters, and I've obviously like looked at it very legally in my living room here and there. But I do feel like it is one of those movies. Watching it in its entirety, like every time you watch it, I could see, and you probably could speak to this, more things that you catch on to.
Yeah.
Every time you watch it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just it was refreshing. So like coming off of you ranting and raving on Facebook about it and then watching it for the first time, it was refreshing because it was, and I've already said this, but like a kind of a fresh idea with layers
Mhm.
that hasn't really like I don't get to the movies as much as I used to, but like it really was a fresh thing that like this hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
In the
And
sense that it
even
was.
though some of it has, it
Oh, of
hasn't
course,
like
yeah, of course, yeah,
it hasn't been done like this before, and I think that is being proven at the box office, and it's being
yeah,
proven by this kind. Like this is literally like the sixth discussion I've had about Sinners. Like people want to talk about this movie. Like it's not just me. Like most of them I've been invited to by like other people that are like, I need to talk about this movie with someone, and that's just a phenomenon. But it's also like it's people have just been like, I'm not the only one that's been complaining about the IP machine and the franchise and the sequel stuff. And I'm being a reviewer, like I see more movies than most. So like,
yeah,
yeah, I go out and find all the original pieces of cinema from all around the world and like watch those types of movies. But I know most people don't do that. Mike and I were actually just talking about it, and I had mentioned a movie, and he was like, well, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And I had to check myself to be like, oh yeah, no, why would he hear of that? Like that's something that only I would actively go out and find because I'm a crazy person like that. So I have to check myself sometimes, but Sinners is just such a singular experience, and it's something that people want to discuss. People want to go see, and that's being proven. And
yeah.
I agree with Mike that like, yeah, all the studios are going to take the wrong lessons from it, and all they're going to say is like, oh, people want vampire movies, and it's like that's not why we're seeing this movie. But fine, go ahead, make 1,000 more shitty vampire, make Dracula Untold 2. Go see how that
Right.
goes for you guys.
And that's what I've been seeing online now is that a lot of I don't want to say the nerd base, but like a lot of people are saying now to like Coogler, they're like, hey, ditch Marvel, ditch the franchise, and just keep doing your original shit. My opinion is do both.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like
Yeah,
if
get the Marvel bag, man. Like,
yeah, get your
like
bag, get
fucking
your
Hollywood's
bag.
your oyster
Yeah,
now, dude. You can do whatever
yeah.
the fuck you want.
Get
You do
your
a
bag to make your shit. Like,
you do a
yeah,
paycheck project, and then you do a passion project.
One for them, one for me.
yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, like I do think for because like I almost wanted like I had this conversation with someone like I almost want to say like Coogler, and you almost want to say like for someone with the lack of experience as Coogler, but you're like, wait a second, this guy does have experience. This guy has laid out Black Panther movies, Creed, what was Platform? What was the movie he made with Michael?
Fruitvale Station.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Fruitvale Station. Like he does have the experience, he has the credibility, he has all that. It's like why shouldn't he do his original movies now?
Yeah.
Like, and especially with this one leading off, like I think the guy has an incredible future.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, he does. And he's young, and look, he's not the Russos. So we're we're all the better for it.
100% agreed.
Yeah.
Anything else, Derek?
No, I'm gonna stop
All right.
because we'll never end this
I'm giving you
goddamn
your
podcast. We'll
platform.
never end this show, bro.
All right. Next time you see Mike and Derek on the show, we'll be talking about Delray Lindo. We'll be drafting this.
I hope you're fucking serious because I am so down to go down a Delroy Lindo.
I'm down too.
Mike firing off some of these movies, I'm just like, oh fuck, dude, that sounds like a real fun time. Like pop a gummy and go down a Delroy Lindo rabbit hole. Let's fucking go.
We have done if you remember, Derek, we did like a whole thing where we drafted the best of Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah.
So like we
see the
I'm
Surfer,
down.
by the way. Surfer's really good. I had a good time with it.
Okay.
It's Nick Caging like Nick Cage does. It's fucking it's wild and psychedelic and weird and something
Perfect.
only Nick Cage can do.
Perfect. But yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
So all right. On that note, Mike, you have anything coming up?
I mean, I just the usual video releases on YouTube. Just search Jack of All Nerds.
Perfect. Derek, same thing.
Yeah, just check out all my reviews on nerdbot.com. And then you can follow me on all the socials except the TikToks because I'm 40 and I can't do that. So
yeah, no TikToks from either. All right, cool. Thanks for joining us today. A couple movie reviews. Good go. Cool.